JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today in the Treasury Titans. Nothing in this video is financial advice, but look at Michael Saylor with his orange tie in Dubai. Looking sharp. What a great keynote he gave there. If you haven't listened to it, definitely make time for that. Then he's in Bahrain. We have Bitcoin in Bahrain. I mean, again, Michael Saylor rocking the orange tie. How can you not be absolutely pumped, absolutely thrilled to have a CEO or not the CEO, because Fong Li's the CEO and he's amazing, but to have a representative of strategy, Michael Saylor, the creator, the founder, the idea guy, working so hard every single day for us, for MSTR shareholders, for the preferred shareholders, for all of the ecosystem within strategy. He is absolutely relentless. He is a man on a mission. He is the financial engineering genius of our lifetime. People who don't get that now are going to be just pounding their head against the wall later saying, why did I not listen to MSTR Today in the Treasury Titans? I'm so glad that you are right now in December of 2025, because in December of 2030, we're just going to be popping champagne and corks all over the place saying, yes, it hasn't been straight up for the past 5 years, but it's been a great ride all the same. Pullbacks, explosions, moons, decimation. I mean, it's just going to be all over the place, and I'm here for it. I can't wait. We have so much fun ahead. It is just going to be a pleasure to ride this ride with you. And oh, there's Michael Saylor again, rocking with CZ, the great Bitcoin exchange, because these two gentlemen are parts of those who are changing the world. Of course, I believe Michael Saylor is the biggest part of this duo who is changing the world. But, you know, CZ's playing his role. CZ's playing his part. He's debating Michael Schiff about Bitcoin versus gold. He's doing the thing. But let's be honest, Michael Saylor, he's the guy. He's the one that's driving this train forward. We have Hermé saying stretch to 100 again today. It didn't end up happening, but, you know, listen, not for a lack of trying from strategy. Here we go. Stretch 10.75 dividends. If you're frustrated by low yields, stretch NASDAQ. And I do love the dripping from these windows here. It's very clever. Let's wait for it one more time because it's really that good. Here we go. Frustrated by low yields. Drip, drip, drip. So if you like money, stretch. NASDAQ Tower, Times Square. Let's go. Party time. Rock and roll. 100% Strategy says, some people wonder why I avoid options or leveraged ETFs. I want a 10 plus year holding period instrument on Bitcoin scale and has the highest possible volatility. MSTR is the option. If anyone can find a more volatile instrument with over 10 years of duration on Bitcoin scale, let me know. Well, I'll give a hint to 100% Strategy, who already knows this. But anybody who doesn't already know, there is no other option besides strategy when it comes to this criteria. So let's just sit back, enjoy the ride, know that we are quote unquote pre-rich because of where MSTR is going in the future. It's absolutely inevitable, in my opinion, not financial advice. Hermé says, since strategy will never stop buying Bitcoin, MSTR will always appreciate faster than Bitcoin. It's just math. Strategy is never going to stop buying Bitcoin. In fact, they're going to be buying hand over fist when they get stretched up to 100 and Bitcoin starts coming back a little bit and the sentiment shifts. They're going to be buying hundreds and hundreds of millions. And I actually predict some week in 2026, we're going to have $1 billion week of just buying Bitcoin from stretch alone. And that will be glorious. Chris said, for decades, capital markets have been built on analog capital, centralized fiat currencies that are manipulated, debased, and weaponized. Strategy is building a new system on top of digital capital, Bitcoin. Anyone that has taken the time to explore the company will know that it's not a Bitcoin proxy. It's a Bitcoin refinery. It takes raw Bitcoin and converts it into structured financial products by issuing digital credit. These products are engineered to appeal to different investor profiles, making Bitcoin more accessible and therefore attracting capital that otherwise wouldn't flow into the asset. Through this model, strategy monetizes its Bitcoin far more productively. It effectively transforms inert balance sheet capital into yield-bearing capital. The magic doesn't stop here, though. As strategy accumulates more Bitcoin, its credit quality improves. As its credit quality improves, it can attract more capital. As it attracts more capital, it can buy more Bitcoin. As it buys more Bitcoin, it improves credit quality, attracts more capital, buys more Bitcoin. The flywheel is unmatched in the corporate world, and is why Strategy is evolving into a digital credit monopoly. Period. End of story. The Bitcoin therapist says, just in, Metaplanet has raised $50 million to buy Bitcoin using existing Bitcoin as collateral. The treasury titans are taking off. I'm really looking forward to 2026 when Mercury and Mars start taking shape for Metaplanet. If you know, you know. MSTR officially was excluded from the S&P 500, but we already had the decision early last week. This was expected. No reason to be disappointed. The future for MSTR is bright. And again, it's just inevitable. It's going to happen. Simon says, looking forward to the fireside chat with Saylor. What would you like us to dive into on corporate Bitcoin strategy? Simon and Michael Saylor on stage. This is something I will not miss. In fact, I did throw in a question here. I want to know the best ways your Bitcoin can generate revenue, because I think it's really cool that Metaplanet's using their Bitcoin to generate revenue. Obviously, Strategy and Saylor are doing it in different ways, but I'm curious to see what Saylor might think of this question and how he's looking at it with derivatives and the such. So only time will tell. Now I have a great interview with Fong Li. You know, Michael Saylor was in Dubai. He was in Bahrain. He was doing his thing. So Fong Li stepped up, talked to the media, dropped some absolute value bombs. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our CEO. Michael Saylor just made an $835 million bet buying the Bitcoin dip. Right now, Bitcoin's fallen almost 40% off its October high, and the big money is buying the dip. What's your strategy? Now might be a great time to convert your IRA or 401k to Bitcoin with the help of Bit IRA. Plus, you can fund it with pre-tax funds, then continue to invest it over time as you do any other retirement accounts. Bit IRA protects your assets with end-to-end insurance, highly secure storage, multi-encryption, and registered with the U.S. government. Your IRA is fully IRS compliant. Best of all, you can trade crypto within your retirement account without incurring taxes on any buys or sells. Just go to bitira.com/JLD and request a free info guide. Once you do that and open your IRA, you'll get a free ledger. Bitcoin has proven time and time again to rebound, every cycle going from a higher low to a higher high. With Strategy's latest purchase, Michael Saylor clearly believes Bitcoin is at a discount. Time for you to get in too. Go to bitira.com/JLD to open a tax-sheltered IRA in Bitcoin. When you're ready to build your complete business identity, you want to do it fast and right. With Northwest Registered Agent, you can build your business identity in just 10 clicks in 10 minutes. When you want more, start your business with Northwest. Everything you need to launch and protect your business all in one place. Your business identity isn't just your logo or website, it's everything that represents you. From what customers see to what they don't, legal filings, state licenses, secure domains, and compliance tools. Northwest gives you more privacy, more tools, and more guidance so you can focus on growing your dream. For nearly 30 years, Northwest has helped entrepreneurs like us build confidently. You can form your business for just $39 plus state fees, backed by real corporate guides, people who know your state's laws and have your back every step of the way. Don't wait. Protect your privacy, build your brand, and get your complete business identity in just 10 clicks in 10 minutes. Visit www.northwestregisteredagent.com/paidJLD and start building something amazing. Get more with Northwest Registered Agent at www.northwestregisteredagent.com/paidJLD.
Here to talk us through it is Strategy CEO Fong Li. Fong, it's great to have you here. Welcome to the airwaves.
Thank you for having me, Kelly and Don.
So, look, we all know that as long as the price of Bitcoin goes up, your company does quite well. What happens when the price of Bitcoin goes down or even just goes sideways?
Well, look, we've been doing this for 5 years now, and we've seen the Bitcoin winter of 2022. And what happened when Bitcoin went down is we just kept going on with our strategy, which is issuing equity and debt and raising capital at a premium to our net asset value and buying Bitcoin in a creative way. Maybe we do it a little bit slower in a down market, but we just continue with our strategy, and we've been very successful doing that.
What is your average entry price at this point? Because if you bought all the Bitcoin 10 years ago, that'd be one thing. But if you've been buying all the way up, then presumably some of them are in the red as it's corrected.
Yeah, our average price is around $72,000, so we're still positive on our total Bitcoin purchases.
What happens if it goes below 72,000?
If it goes below, look, we've seen the up and down cycles of Bitcoin, right? And again, we saw this in 2022. Nothing really changes. We trade down a little bit when it goes below $72,000, but you have to be, we're believers in the long-term asset class, right? We believe that Bitcoin is going to go up over 20% a year for the next 20 years. It's been doing that for the last 18 years.
So it's one thing if your kind of average entry price goes into the red briefly, as it might if the price goes below 72,000. But what is the level at which you might not be able to meet your debt obligations?
We have, as you probably know, we just built up a US dollar reserve of $1.44 billion, which covers 21 months of our debt obligations, which is around $800 million a year. And so that'll last us 2 to 3 years to 2029. And then we have 72 years worth of Bitcoin on top of that. If you assume for a minute a downside scenario, Bitcoin gets cut in half, we'll still be able to make it through to 2065 before we're not paying our debt obligations. We have quite a long runway with our assets that we have in our balance sheet.
Hey, Phong, it's Dom. My question to you is, I'm trying to figure out what exactly you think has been one of the primary drivers for the volatility that we've seen as of late in cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in particular. I want to kind of play for you something that we heard from Tom Lee, who's BitMine Immersion's executive chairman over there right now. Just talking a little bit about the risk sentiment, I want you to take a listen and see what you think.
MicroStrategy is probably the most important stock to watch right now because that is the Bitcoin proxy. It's the most liquid name. It seems to me that when in the crypto world, when they're trying to hedge their longs in Bitcoin and Ethereum, they can't find any other way to hedge it except shorting the liquid stocks that are the proxies. So that's the MicroStrategies.
All right, so you heard Tom Lee just there, Phong. Do you feel as though your company has become this kind of proxy instrument for Bitcoin in the public capital markets? And because of that, people have had to use your company as a way to structure certain types of views, whether they're long or, in Tom Lee's thesis case, to the downside and short.
Yeah, that's why when Bitcoin has a 50 ARR, 50 vol, we have a 70 ARR, 70 vol, which means that in times when Bitcoin's going up, we go up more. When Bitcoin goes down, we go down more. When we entered this Bitcoin treasury strategy in 2020, we were a way for people to get access to the underlying Bitcoin through public equities. ETFs changed that a bit in 2024. But yeah, we very much are a big part of the crypto ecosystem and the Bitcoin ecosystem, which is why we decided a couple of weeks ago to start raising capital and putting US dollars on our balance sheet to get rid of this FUD. And it really was FUD. We weren't going to have an issue to be able to pay our dividends. And we weren't going to likely have to tap into selling Bitcoin. But the narrative that was created, and I don't know where those things get created on social media, the news, the internet, by big banks, by big government, by environmentalists, by Luddites. There is FUD that was put out there that we wouldn't be able to meet our dividend obligations, which causes people to pile into a short Bitcoin bet. And we put that, we just addressed that. In 8.5 days, we raised $1.44 billion, 21 months worth of dividend obligations. And we did it, one, to address the FUD, but two, to show people that we're still able to raise money in a Bitcoin down cycle.
You mentioned the FUD, right? The fear, uncertainty, and doubt aspect of this whole thing. Do you believe as though this long-term thesis for investors in a company like MicroStrategy or a BitMine Immersion or any of these treasury companies is about whether or not the viability of cryptocurrencies overall has real runway, or are the bubble fears really just something that are going to be headwinds for you guys no matter what?
No, I think they're bubble fears. I think we're at the point, you could argue 3 years ago, certainly 4 or 5 years ago, there were concerns around whether cryptocurrencies had a utility. I think we're past that. I think we've passed the Overton window. I think the US government's proven that. Look, even now we have Vanguard and JP Morgan capitulating, who have very well-known CEOs who said that they didn't think there was value to Bitcoin, and now they've changed. The dynamic, if you take a step back, is Bitcoin has gone up 45% a year for the last 5 years, right? It's one of the best performing asset classes in the world. You can take any small segment of time, like the last 2 months, and say we're in a down cycle. Bitcoin is going to go away. Cryptocurrency is going to go away. But you have to take a step back. You have to have some time in hands. And you have to realize this is just volatility.
Would you ever sell, Fong?
We would sell if we got to the point where we did not have the liquidity and we didn't have the US dollar access and we couldn't sell Bitcoin derivatives. But like I said, that's 2065 until we get there. I don't know what you're doing in 2065, but I don't know that I'll be doing this in 2065. And maybe at that point, we might have to sell Bitcoin if we have a sustained 40-year down cycle.
Do you think the price of Bitcoin goes ever higher in perpetuity? Or is it just that it'll get high enough and stay high enough that your strategy is fine?
I think it'll go higher for the next 20 years. And I'm very bad. Heck, I'm bad at predicting things 5 years out. So I think after 20 years, we'll have to see what's next, what new innovations are in the marketplace. Maybe something else will come along. But I think Bitcoin has a pretty long runway.
What's the second best? There is no second best.